Orange Zone, sponsored by Billy Whittaker Cars and Trucks.
You heard it. Welcome into the Orange Zone podcast presented by Billy Whittaker Cars and Trucks. Just a reminder, you can find every episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hello from the Skycam. We're your place for all things Syracuse Orange, and we are now your place for a brand new guest, a very, very special guest. It's Lawrence Poetry and Moten. It's SU's all-time leading scorer in basketball. It's a former Vancouver Grizzly. He held the record for points in the Big East for 25 years. He's a great man. He works in the community now at Syracuse, and he is 315 all the way. Poetry, welcome to the show, my man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to welcome a new guest. I feel like that's what we've been missing. I really do feel like these shows flow really well. You know, me and Tommy, we can riff, but it's always nice to have a third person here, so we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm Tommy Sladek, Samantha Croston. We have Brendon Hodges on the producer mic. And normally with the new guests, we break down the career. And with Lawrence, it's decades to talk about. But there's one thing on everyone's mind right now, and there's one thing on your mind if you're listening or watching right now, and it was that Syracuse-UNC game that went down late Tuesday night. One that Syracuse had a nightmare finish. One that ended 72-68. One in which Syracuse was up 68-66 in the final minute of the game, with just seconds to play. Now, we were talking before the show about how to bring into this game, how to break it all down. But I'm going to open it up to the table here and say, after a good night's sleep, what is on your minds about how this game finished? Lawrence, we'll start with you.
You know, of course it didn't end well. You know, being an Orange guy, I thought they played tough. You know, we were down 10, you know, in the game, and to fight back against a UNC team who's runner-up national champion. You know, I thought those guys played really hard. You know, but I'm big on, you know, when you're home, you got to protect your home. And we just lost a little focus. You know, that's why they say you have to play 40 minutes, and we played 38.
Yeah, bizarre ending.
Bizarre ending. I mean, honestly, even still after a good night's sleep, the foul discrepancies upset me. The free throw discrepancy upset me. We always say we try and bring a stat each week. And the stat I have this week is that UNC took 23 free throws and SU only took 3. I think that that's something that upset a lot of people. And I'm not ever going to be one to say that the refs cost a game. I think you take that into your own hands and you take ownership of the wins and the losses. But I think it played a factor. And the other thing that was on my mind, honestly, you know, I was shooting yesterday. For anyone who didn't know, I was shooting. I was courtside, so you get a different angle being able to do that. And what blew my mind is, you know, with a minute left, I don't know that I've ever seen this place so amped up. And with 10 seconds left, I was shooting up into the stands. People are leaving. That's how quickly things shifted. You could feel the entire place had this collective, what just happened?
And it really was. It so much happened in the final 2 minutes. And we'll start with SU down 66-65. Joe Girard ends up coming down the court, cool as a cucumber, pops a tray, making it a 68-66 game. UNC possession. SU plays great D. They get the rebound.
Right.
And that's what people forget, is that there was that possession in there where there was a great opportunity to go up 70-66 in the final minute. And Judah Mintz ends up taking a pretty good shot. That thing rattled in and out. Come back down the other way. Jesse Edwards called for foul number 5. Nance goes to the line, makes the first one, making it 68-67. Now, in my situation, I look at this. There's about 18 seconds left, 21 seconds left. He just makes that free throw. It's just SU's possession to win it, or it's going to OT. Granted, you're not going to have Edwards in that situation, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Absolutely.
I don't mind that at all. Instead, what happens is we get a loose ball, shot doesn't fall, bounces around, and there's a moment of who did it go off of, but Joe Girard has an opportunity to save it, and he makes the decision to save it. It then goes right back to Nance, who puts up a bucket, and in a blink of an eye, this place went from 100 down to 0, in that dome as they took a 69-68 lead. So we're going to pause it right there before we get to the mints and a flagrant foul. And Poetry, saving the ball right there.
Saving the ball right there. You know, we were always taught basketball 101. Never save the ball and throw it to the opposite team's basket. If anything, hold the basketball, and you still have 17 seconds to play solid defense.
And get reset,
So,
right?
Exactly. So I thought that was a bad decision, instinctively decision that he made, and it just so happened that it was the wrong one.
Yeah. Sam, what did you see from your angle on the court?
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, you know, it's like easy to look back on it and reflect on it now, and we watched it even after last night just to really break down, okay, what exactly happened here? But it does seem like it is a pretty rare situation where you would hope that UNC would make the free throw. You know, of course you would hope that they miss it and you're still up. I feel like it was one of those situations that just should never happen, but it did. And do I think it was bad decision making? Yeah, like after hearing what you discussed, I could see why holding it could have been the right decision, but I also see why instinctively, with the amount of time that was left, especially if he thought the ball tipped off of him, if Gerard did, why he would have thought to do that and then realize afterwards it was a mistake. I mean, what would you have done in that situation?
You know, like I said, basketball is an instinctive game, so no one really knows what you'd have done. But me personally, after looking at it, I would have held the ball. I would have held the ball, and, you know, we got 17 seconds to play solid defense, get a stop, and we get the rebound, and they have to foul us now, and we make our free throws. But he didn't make that decision, you know, and like I said, for 38 minutes, those guys really fought. Bell played well. You know, guys really came in and did their job, you know, because it's not all about scoring all the time. It's about playing your role and doing your job. And I really thought that the guys really were locked in at the end and just lost that focus the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. And so it's a 69-68 game now, right? And I believe a timeout was called. There's a chance to go down the court, gets it up. Plenty of time to have a honestly solid possession there to try to get the lead. You don't even need a 3. You just need a 2. You just got to get, you know, even just get to the line type of deal. You're down 1. And I mean, it was instant. Mintz, one of the, I mean, there's not too many freshmen I've ever seen that drive like he does with that intensity. North Carolina, Hubert Davis, Baycott afterwards saying they know that's his style. They put a veteran like R.J. Davis on there, a guy that's going to be probably a consensus All-American, and he was looking for that charge heading in there. They talked about that. They knew that was their game plan. Mintz comes in hard, eats the body, eats the contact, and in the process of that happening, I mean, it was so quick, goes for the Euro step, and bam, rocks him. He goes down, charge is called, they take another look at it, they call it a flagrant. We all agree that it should have been a charge. Do you think it should have been a flagrant call in that situation?
Well, you know, me personally, I didn't think it should have been called, but the way they are calling the game now, anything to the face.
Right.
If you get hit in the face, they're going to call it a flagrant one, no matter how it looks. And like you said, R.J. Davis, he did a great job of playing solid defense and holding his ground, you know, because Judah definitely tried to play bully ball. We call that bully ball. And he tried to bully him, and he didn't get away with it. He smacked him right on the face, and it was a charge. It was definitely a charge.
I mean, for me, I think when I watch that situation again, I'm honestly more concerned with, I wonder if there were other options or other opportunities in that situation instead of, and I agree, you know, Mintz knows how to drive. We saw, you know, that he made a bunch of great plays in the game. But especially knowing that, like, Joe Girard was hot, you know, the play or two before, I wonder if he could just slow down just for a moment and just see what other opportunities could have been available. You know, I wish that they would have taken just a little bit more time. I understand that the clock was winding down, but just to see, can you just get 1 or 2 more passes off? Is there someone else who could have gotten that ball in that last shot? Like, in the last shot, at this point in time, I would feel the most confident with the ball in Joe Girard's hands.
Joe, and even you talk about the way that Chris Bell was having a game. Granted, they didn't need a 3 in that situation, but just something that feels more of like in rhythm with the game. But when you have a player like Judah that you know, I'm sure has been that guy his whole life, and he comes in with just such confidence as a freshman. Is this one of those things where even though we haven't necessarily seen that game winner too many times, Lawrence, do you see it where he's just going to be the guy with the ball in his hands, and do you like that?
You know, I definitely like it. You know, and you have to crawl before you walk. He's still learning.
Sure.
And a very aggressive player, just a solid all-around player when it comes to making certain decisions. But at the same time, he's young, where you can see where some of the decisions are bad. Now, I'm not big with this Euro step. Sometimes the Euro step can hurt you. And I think at that moment, it hurt him.
Yeah.
Because me looking at the whole situation, it could have been a drive, just a little short pull-up for a jumper or a little floater. But he was aggressive, and he tried to bully him and didn't get away with it, plain and simple.
So anyway, Syracuse ends up losing that one 72-68, and it was another game really in the same week, same 8 days that they just had that opportunity with Miami for that quad one win. They had that opportunity with North Carolina. And even though the two teams came in with similar records, you look at those net rankings and everything with the tournament, and they're on two different levels just because of that discrepancy in the teams that have been played. And ultimately, do you guys see us a month from now looking back at these two games and saying, man, did we need that on the resume?
Sam?
Yes. I absolutely think that. I think these are two games that you would want back. But moving forward, you know, whether or not they will get a shot at the NCAA tournament has yet to be decided. At this point in time, do I see them getting invited in March? No. But we'll see what happens. But honestly, you know, we could talk about the last 2 minutes of that game and what went wrong. But how about this? How about get a lead right from the jump? Like, it did feel like up until those 2 minutes, honestly, it felt like UNC had control 80% of that game. You know, how about let's get up, you know, 6-0 or 10-2. You know, that's what I'm missing from this team, is feeling like there's any control even throughout the game. I love a crazy finish, don't get me wrong. But I would love to feel like my heart wasn't thumping out of my chest from the first moment. You know, it'd be nice to gain a little bit of a lead. And it does feel like this team is a slow start, fast finish kind of team.
How do we get past those slow starts? Because it feels like if that box is checked, we're talking about a totally different record right now.
Absolutely. But that comes from making smart plays and smart decisions. Some of the decision-making at times is young, and you can see it. You know, but like I said, they are playing hard. You know, I go back to just games like Colgate and Bryant. You know, like even though they're not tier 1 teams like, you know, UNC and Miami, but these are games we're supposed to win. And my prediction, 9-10-11, 18-12, you know, in that range, and that won't get you in the NCAA at all.
No, sir. And Brendon Hodge is over on the producer mic behind the booth here. Brendon, you put down some notes here for us. A lot of numbers. What stuck out to you about that finish or the game in general?
Nothing that's on the sheet right now, actually. I went back, and I'm looking at the box score right now, and you know how last week I said that Jesse and Joe, when they score in double figures, both of them, they usually win?
Yes.
I'm thinking back to it now, and Jesse didn't score in double figures not because he wasn't getting shots up like he was. He was just in foul trouble the entire game, it felt like. Like, as a taller, like, lankier dude going up against Armando Bacot and Pete Nance, who also, yes, Tommy, I did check, is another son of Larry Nance.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
I was not wrong when I said that, and I'm happy because I would have been yelled at again by fans who, for the second time this year. But no, like with a guy like Bacot and even a guy like Nance, you get embodied every so often, and like as a lankier dude, like sometimes your arms just come down when you get hit, and the officials will call a foul. So
I really
like Jesse was efficient.
Yeah.
He was 4-7 from the field. He just
first half, Bacot seemed to have his money, and there were NBA scouts in the building, and I like to think that they were there to watch that matchup because it was fun.
Absolutely, but you know, one of the things that I noticed, and I was telling a friend of mine last night when we were watching the game, I really saw the non-strength of Jesse when it comes to playing on against a true big man who's possibly going to be in the NBA.
Right.
It showed me that he still has some work to do because he got banged a lot and it threw him off his balance. He didn't have balance when he was making
Right.
moves. 4-7 is okay, but it wasn't balanced. It didn't look on balance. He looked off balance, and Baycott really banged him and threw him off track, where he was missing shots that he usually make.
Yeah, I believe he finished the first half with 2 points. So it was all Baycott, and you're right, it was just the angles even. That, Baycott was forcing him into those odd angles.
Yeah.
Second half, it did seem like he started to get a little bit more comfortable with it. Maybe that was just Baycott being tired, whatnot. But you do bring up a good point where it's like you're going to be banging with some big dudes down low at the next level.
You see the difference.
Yeah.
You truly see the difference. And nothing against Jesse. I truly think he'll have an opportunity.
Yeah.
But from what I see with my eyes, if I'm a GM or NBA scout, G League or overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say about Edwards, I just actually think he's just a really great dude. That's the
really
one thing
is.
that hopefully, like,
He really
in
is.
his defense, like, if anyone meets him, coaches meet him, scouts meet him, he's the kind of player, just from the emotional and team-oriented standpoint, that I would want him as my teammate. That's just one thing I wanted to say. I noticed when we did some of the post-game interviews last night, he takes accountability. And like when you talk about some of like the young decision-making, or maybe some of those like superhero plays that turn villainous and things to that effect, he's not like that at all.
Yeah.
He's cool, quiet, collected.
Yeah.
I really like his style.
Yeah, and I respect that, and I respect that honestly out of Joe too. That's a, from a player perspective, that is one of the worst feeling type games. You got to think, just because you had it in your grasp, you just played so hard for 40 minutes, and credit to Joe and especially Jesse, where I'm sure the last thing they want to be doing is having to address what just happened.
Right.
So for them to do that as college athletes, I give them a lot of respect for it, because I know it's probably not easy.
Absolutely. And not only that, think these guys are 4-year seniors now.
Yeah.
They've gotten better every year.
Mm-hmm.
We can honestly say that about both of those guys, and Jesse, like I said, from his freshman year to now, I don't think anybody thought he would be doing it like he's doing it now, because he truly has a chance to make money.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, you don't have to be in the NBA to get paid.
Right.
It's all about doing what you do and speaking from experience. It's about loving the game and getting paid to do something you love to do.
With the NIL era now, with the name, image, likeness, do you see a possibility where a guy like that would normally be leaving after this year, he has that opportunity to come back because of COVID, and just maybe with some of the money opportunities here, and also just that chance of development, do you see it as a viable option for someone like him to come back?
Absolutely, it's a viable option. That's what this world is about now. It's options and this portal. I'm not a transfer portal fan. Let's not get it twisted. I truly can't stand it. It takes away the loyalty and the what's the word I'm looking for? The team
Camaraderie?
Team camaraderie, but more just tradition.
Sure.
The tradition is lost now, and I'm an old school guy, so it's like you can have two great guys on one team, and one of these guys might want to transfer because he knows he's not going to play, instead of challenging the next guy. There's no more challenging each other. If it doesn't work, I'm leaving. Prime example, and it's hurting him this year, Quincy Guerrier. He looks terrible in Oregon.
Yeah.
Averaging 8 points. He averaged 16 and 10 here, which would have been 20 and maybe 12 his senior year. And you leave, and it's hurting you. So the grass is not always greener on the other side, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a good
That's
lesson.
his message for the day. No, I'm happy that you brought that up, because we've talked about the transfer portal in the past during football season. And that's actually not a point that I feel like has been discussed, is that element of, I do like it for certain reasons, and I do favor it some of the time, but that idea of challenging someone, like really stepping up to the challenge when you're in that 2 spot, like I was in that spot, at Colgate, and I'm so happy that I was able to overcome that. Like, you learn more about yourself through those struggles and challenges. I feel like that makes you into a different person as an adult working in the professional world,
Absolutely.
having a life. So yeah, that's something that I'm going to think about tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's totally, I'm split where I think there's situations where if someone is miserable, right, and maybe it's a situation where they made that choice, maybe they're a Northeast kid and like UCLA comes calling, they're like, I'm going out west, and maybe there's just that whether it's family or something's going on where it's pulling them back. I love the beauty in that, and if they're in like an unhealthy culture, they have that opportunity. But what you say, Moten, is really important, and it's if I'm not playing right away or if things aren't going my way right away, the solution for some young athletes is I'm going to just leave. And what ends up happening some of those times, sometimes it works out. Others, they're at school number 4 by the end of it, and before they realize it's maybe just been me this whole time.
Absolutely. So, it's a new time. I go back to just finding out that we don't have any recruits for 2023.
That's odd too.
And that's because of the portal.
Yeah.
That's because because of the portal. And, I understand we have 6 freshmen now that, which I guess Coach Boeheim wants to give them a chance. But the reality in this world now is no guarantee those 6 will be here.
Right.
That's a great point.
Let's talk about those 6 for a second, because it does feel like every game we're getting that mix and match, right? Mix and match of different combinations of those guys out there. A guy steps up this game, another steps up this game. Last night really felt like that first time that Chris Bell was utilized to his potential. And I like to think I've watched a decent amount. I don't know too many college hoopers that have a quick release time.
Yeah.
Did you catch that as well?
I did catch that. I've been to the practices. Very good shooter, and everything is repetition with him. Anybody, it's all about repetition. But he has a nice shot. He has a nice feel for the game. His mid-range game is good, which is a lost art now.
Right.
Everything is threes and dunks.
That was your bread and butter, man.
My bread and butter, man.
Yeah.
Mid-range killer.
Yeah. And it resulted in 2,334 points, folks.
Mid-range killer, Sam.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'll take your word for it.
And Marquet.
So yeah, that's he has a great feel for the game, and I see progress in him each game. He's been playing better and better, and I'm really high on the guy Brown, who I thought should have been playing early in the season, which would have gave him more confidence now. But he's going to be a good player too. I mean, all the freshmen have truly been playing very well and have had good spurts within this year that we've noticed some good things from them.
Yeah, bright future
definitely.
for him.
No, yeah, I mean Brown is a stud.
Yeah.
I thought that a couple games ago. I was like, wow, a lot of these freshmen, all of them have something to bring to the table. But I think for the rest of the year, it's going to be that conversation we keep having about the positive things that they're all bringing versus some of the mistakes we're seeing in their play that's many times due to that immaturity level. Yes. So it's a matter of just getting everybody on that same page and maybe even asking that question of, is there any way to expedite that process besides just experience, or besides just reps? I'm not sure, but I don't know if maybe that means the veteran leadership stepping up a little more or Gerard demanding that ball more at times, because again, like for someone like Mintz, in my head, I think, well, you don't want to take out the fire that he has, or you don't want to tell him, to do less. But I do think that a couple more selfless plays per game could put the Orange in an even better position.
Absolutely.
And this weekend coming up, so looking ahead to what's next, right? We got a Syracuse team that's 13-8, 6-4 in the ACC now. Virginia Tech, they are now playing a 12-8 team, but record. In conference, not as hot, 2-7. That's on Saturday, the 28th. And Syracuse got the best of Virginia Tech the first time around at home. I think they can do it again. I'm at this point, it's you got to grab as many ACC wins as possible. Got to grab as many wins as possible. And I can't help but start to look ahead to Monday night, which is Virginia, which is UVA coming to town. And you talk about this team just needing those signature wins, needing those resume builders. They've been 0 for 2 now on opportunities that were right there. If they can get this one Monday night, I think it would certainly help them get back on track if they were to win these next 2. So Saturday, any thoughts on it?
You got it.
Saturday, it's going to be tough. Playing Virginia Tech down at that place. It's always hard. And they just come off beating Duke. So they should have a little swag with them and, understanding that if they do what they have to do, shoot the ball well, play solid defense like they're usually doing, they will have a chance. And every road game is tough for us, no matter what, no matter who we play. in the ACC, it's going to be tough when you play on the road, plain and simple. So you're going to have to steal a couple of games on the road to have a chance at the end. Still stuck on yesterday because 7-3 sounds a lot better than 6-4. You know, but we have to live with it. And then we have Virginia, who that pack line defense, you know, we already know. You know, they're going to come with their A game, and they're going to run their system, and they're going to try to make it hard for us. So these next two games are definitely going to be a testament of how we're going to finish for sure.
And I feel like not only do you have to live with these losses, but particularly in a sport like basketball, you have to have a short memory when it comes to this, because not a couple days later, you are on to the next challenge.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to see them get a road win on Saturday, if for no other reason than to instill confidence for when they play against UVA.
Absolutely. And moving on to the SU women. SU women are 13-7. They've dropped 3 in a row now after that 13-4 start. This is actually, both teams are starting to shape up to have this similar season, right? In the SU women, it's just they can't get that top 25 win. And in women's college basketball, as it's been for a while now, the ACC is just the top of its game, the very, very top. And so they're still looking for that. Felicia Leggett-Jack in her first season, I'm not too concerned. I've loved what I've seen so far from them. And so I thought they were going to maybe be able to get it done against Duke, but ended up dropping that one. Good thing for this Syracuse team. They don't have those bad losses that the SU, quote-unquote bad losses that the SU men has in the beginning of the season. So still opportunity for them to learn and grow. And just with time right now, I think it's Producer Brendon's trivia time. Got some trivia. You down for some trivia? Some weekly trivia?
Absolutely.
You guys
Let's make it happen.
You guys lucked out this week. I had a question that I really liked,
Okay.
and I had done a lot of research on, and then it was way too hard for everybody in the newsroom, and I knew you guys wouldn't get it right.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of the year we do like a here are the questions that didn't get asked segment that you would have failed at. But
Let's see how we do.
easy one for you guys today. How many University of North Carolina coaches does Jim Boeheim have wins against?
How many North Carolina, as in UNC?
No, Tommy, the other North Carolina
Well, I
we
thought
played
you
yesterday.
meant North Carolina schools.
So that's what I heard. Schools
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
you're saying
This is on
Wake,
you,
Wake
Hodges.
Forest, NC
I have
State.
on my post it says how many UNC coaches. I didn't want to say that because that sounds unprofessional.
Okay.
I thought it would have been more specific. But what do I know?
Oh,
I'm just a
do
man
you-
trying
do-
to answer a trivia
Do you
question.
want the hard one?
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
want the hard one. We
Yeah,
want the hard
yeah,
one.
yeah. We do want the hard one.
Do you want to answer this one first because this one's actually pretty easy.
Okay. UNC coaches.
It's just with. I mean, when did Roy Williams get there? Do you remember?
I'm going to say 5.
I'm gonna go low and say maybe just Roy Williams.
I'm going to say 3.
None of you got that right.
Okay.
He beat Dean Smith one time
Okay.
in the tournament actually, and then he beat Roy Williams. He has not beat Hubert Davis yet, unfortunately. The hard
They
one.
played twice.
The hard. You guys aren't going to get
see,
this
I was
right, but
confused.
I will take enjoyment in this. Jim Boeheim, as you all know, he officially has 1,011 wins. Officially, because 101 of them were vacated from 5 different seasons during his tenure with SU due to various NCAA violations. 9 of those wins came against current ACC teams. Against which current ACC team did the most wins get vacated against?
Man, it's just a guessing game. By the way, Lawrence, just to let you know, as I'm sure you picked up, Brendon is our show villain.
He's
our
villainous.
show villain. He
Tommy,
likes-
I'm a show villain with a new setup back here, by the way.
He does have a new setup. He's got some new jerseys on the wall. So, so 9 of those wins came against ACC teams.
Current teams that are in the ACC right now, yes.
Okay, and which of
See, a
those?
villain, the answer to the question would be UNC. That's what a villain would do. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Hey, Sam, I like where you're
Okay.
going, Sam. I like where you're going.
A villain would be like, that's too easy, that it's
Sometimes
hard.
you got to trick the villain.
Sam, do you want to put that in as your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going to lock that in.
Well, you're wrong.
All right, so we
I just
got.
want to take one for the team.
Let's see. Do you know the years off the top of your, like, can we get
The years that the wins were vacated from, right?
So it
That's
would've
what you're
been-
asking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hint if you guys want it.
And it was the most. Yeah.
So
okay.
the years they were wins were vacated from were 2004, 2005, That the season 04-05, the 05-06 season, 06-07, 2010-11, 2011-12.
This is a good question, Brendon.
Thank you.
Solid.
It took me an
I
hour
like
to find
this.
the answer.
How
to
many?
this.
How many were? What's the most here? Is it like 3 wins?
Yes, it is actually
okay,
3
it's
wins.
3 wins against a team from that specific time. Current ACC teams.
If nothing else, you got to say this man does his
I
research.
see. Is it Pitt?
No,
That's a good
Okay.
guess.
they are no. Pitt is on the list.
I'm tapping in. I'm going deep in.
Hold on, let me put you on camera here.
I feel it.
Hold on.
I feel
Oh,
it.
you're on camera, Tommy.
It's coming. It's coming. Virginia Tech.
That's a negative.
Man.
Tommy was on the right track, I think. That Lawrence was on the right track as well. You're thinking old Big East teams
Right.
that are now in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
One of those was Notre Dame. SU had 2 wins from them vacated.
Okay.
They had 3 wins taken away against Louisville.
Louisville?
You know what? Nice win, Brendon.
Thank you.
You take a win. That was a good question.
I take it when I can get it.
I enjoyed that. I really had to tap in there.
Me
That was
too.
nice, though.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week. We're coming for you. I'm just letting you know.
I'm sure.
I'm just letting you know right now.
Tommy, I will tell you right now, I am ready for you.
Okay.
I will always be ready for
Bring
you.
it on. Gosh, this man is evil. I love it. Any last thoughts from this episode of the Orange Zone podcast?
Yeah, I got a last thought. First of all, thanks for having me to be a part
Absolutely,
of you
man.
guys' crew. Sam, we have something in common. My nickname is Sam.
Yeah?
So we have something in common.
How did that start?
My grandfather gave me that name.
Yeah?
Yeah. He said I look like Sam Cooke,
No
the
way.
former singer.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't like Lawrence. Him and my father didn't get along, so it was Sam. So when you call me Sam,
Aw.
I'm kind of like turning my head because it's like the family name.
Sure.
I would
sure.
love to call
Not-
you
not a lot
Sam,
of
but I think
people,
that might
yeah.
get confusing.
Yeah, even Coach used to call it to me sometimes, Coach Boeheim and the crew. So, but yeah, looking forward to this. I'm enjoying it, and great times to come.
I actually do have one question. Is the Boeheim behind you, Lawrence, the Boeheim that you remember from your playing days?
That was before his
Oh,
time,
that was a little
right?
before me, but I can honestly say one thing I love about my coach. Now, he used to draw up plays, you know, like the play he drew up for Girardi to hit the big 3.
Yeah.
And we would run a play and 1, 2, 3 Q's. And it's one of the favorite things to this day that I love, the coach used to say, Lawrence, come here. So I'm like, what's up, coach? Just get a bucket, son. I don't care how you do it. Those are
That
the
was
words he
good.
used to tell poetry.
I love that.
That's hilarious.
That's facts.
You know what my coaches would tell me? Get rid of the ball. I don't want it in your hands. Whatever
I can
you
see
do,
that.
do not take that shot. Sam, last thoughts?
More of an assist kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm more of an assist or bench
All
guy. Yeah, team morale.
No, I love that. No, I mean honestly, I think my last thought, I'll hit on the women real quick since we hit them sort of more
Sure.
towards the end. I'm gonna come out here and say that I think that the SU women are gonna win their next game, and I'm gonna tell you that the reason why I think that is because Coach Felicia Leggett-Jack. I think that one thing that's her strength that we'll see in years to come is that she makes adjustments quickly. She's not afraid to adjust something if it's not working. She wants to admit it right away. She wants to move on. She wants to find a plan B.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for her, and I believe in her.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of Sam, what she just said, and I know Felicia personally. Felicia was assistant coach for the girls basketball team when I was a player, and I used to go in her office, and we used to chop it up. Great spirit, great leader, and I guarantee in 5 years, Syracuse will have a championship in the ACC.
I'll double down on that, man.
Facts.
I absolutely love that. She said it at the podium when she got hired back in April. She's like, there will be a championship banner here by the time I
Yes.
leave.
And don't you love that?
Yeah.
She commits to it right away. She says, this is what it's going to feel like if I'm
Absolutely.
successful here.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's homegrown, and that's what's big, even with recruiting and coaching, you can't go get a coach from California to come to New York.
No.
It's just not going to work. Different style of a player, just like I couldn't go to West Coast.
Right.
So, I'm big on that. I'm You got me stuck for 20 years when we got Greg Robinson, man. I'm going back to football.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't get a Cali guy to try to coach East Coast guys. It'll never work.
East Coast, West Coast. Different time zones, different styles of hooping in football.
Absolutely.
Let's
We're
wrap
out
it
of
up.
here. Let's wrap it up. Orange Zone Podcast. Tommy Sladek, Samantha Croston, Lawrence Moten, Brendon Hodges on the producer, Mike, Billy Whittaker Cars and Trucks. Thank you for the sponsor. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Peace.
See ya.